Hi guys, this is Paul with Tweaktown. We're back here at Storage Visions 2015. Right now I'm sitting down with Brian Cox from SanDisk, and SanDisk has really been on the move lately. In the last few years, it's been tremendous growth. Can you give us kind of a little bit of a feeling and an understanding of what's going on?
Yeah, happy to, Paul, and thanks for having me here on the show. The business at SanDisk has been growing very, very well. From pioneering flash over 25 years ago, getting first into retail with products that people know they can see at the local Best Buy, the memory cards for cameras, the thumb drives, and all kinds of derivatives off of that. I think we're in over 300,000 retail outlets at this point around the globe. But I think the real story for SanDisk has been getting into SSDs. It's a business that we got into for both client devices like laptops, as well as the data center just a little over 3 years ago. And it's now the fastest growing part of SanDisk. In fact, at last count, for our SSDs, we're already over 28% of SanDisk's total business. So starting from basically zero, right? So it's already $1 billion run rate business easily for SanDisk, and it's been very good business as we basically bring the benefits of flash into corporate America, right, into around the world, both for the mobile workforce as well as for what we're doing in the data center, both traditional data centers and what you see at the social media companies, cloud storage companies. They're all adopting flash as well, and SanDisk is actively in the mix.
And I think a big part of that success also kind of stems from the fact that you guys offer a solution for for every single workload, and there's different types of connections and everything. Like here is the Optimus Eco. Could you give us a few words on that?
Yeah, so I think this is probably a very good example for where we are in the data center. This Optimus Eco drive is in fact what's powering the all-flash array from HP, their 3-par 7450. So they're pioneering new economics in regards to the use of flash. They can sell a flash-based storage system all in, the chassis, all the system board, power supplies, cable, and the media for under $2 a gigabyte, all in, right? And so they actually see that it's cheaper for performance-sensitive workloads to sell flash-based systems than it is to sell hard drive-based systems. So I think that was a tipping point that we hit in 2014, that flash systems are now cheaper than hard drive-based systems for these type of workloads.
And I think one of the big stories too behind more integration into the data center is capacity. Of course, capacity and performance density. A few years ago, we were looking at 64 gigabyte SSDs were bleeding edge, and now you guys are offering some amazing capacities with drives such as the Optimus Max, and that's 4 terabyte. Have you guys seen a lot of interest in this type of a product?
This is our 4 terabyte drive that we introduced in the middle of 2014, and it's like gone viral in regards to the interest. A lot of interest from the big social media Web 2.0 cloud companies because they want to get more capacity, more density in a smaller space, right? They buy data center space by the football field size or by acre, right? And anything that they can do to be more efficient in that space helps them turn a profit. So by moving to not only lower power, lower cooling costs by using flash versus hard drives, the capacities now free them up to save space at the same time.
And that was a big advantage of hard disk drives over SSDs, and some people still claim that they still have this capacity advantage, but for performance applications, you're not going to find a 2.5-inch hard drive with 4 terabytes.
Right, so even the big hard drives that are now the biggest SATA connected hard drives are 6 and 8 terabytes?
Yep.
But they're in a 3.5-inch form factor, so they're much bigger. So the density in this is much better than hard drives, and when we're seeing the capacities on these double roughly about every 12 months or so. So we anticipate that this will be at 8 terabytes in 2015, yet doubling again every year after that. So we're on a trajectory that within the next year or two, we'll be surpassing the capacities of the very largest hard drives.
And of course, there's a lot of engineering that goes into getting that much flash in there, and through density increases, each of these packages that we can see on the inside of a high-capacity SSD will store more NAND. So you guys have a pretty good platform you can just add denser chips to, correct?
Exactly, and it's no spinning platter on here, no moving parts, just simple electrons. So, this allows us to keep up with the processors and the memory and the networking, which are all chip-based. You want to have storage that's chip-based as well. And so that's the magic behind what's inside an SSD is lots of different chips.
And coming in these standard traditional form factors that hard drives were kind of allowed that transition to begin with flash. It kind of made it easy to get it in there.
Right.
And now we're starting to see more refined solutions that are designed to target even higher performance. And they're using faster interfaces, namely PCIe. And recently you guys have begun adding your PCIe line. Big news this year was you guys purchased Fusion IO, of course. And now you guys have a robust line of PCIe application accelerators. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, so we rounded out our product line further, complementing what we have for our SAS and SATA connected SSDs, traditional form factors that go one-for-one swap for hard drives. But now we're looking at ways to further take advantage of the performance of flash. So we acquired, you can even see their logo, acquired Fusion IO, and got the industry leader in regards to PCI Express connected flash.
And they actually began the transition.
Exactly, they pioneered that whole space. And what's really important to understand is not only do they pioneer this from a hardware deployment, they also looked at flash from a whole different perspective. Instead of trying to copy the way that we address data through block addressing and a SCSI stack, so think about it, the original hard drives, all had to map out what was happening on that spinning platter, what was sector and what were the blocks, and do the addressing that way. Well, there's no platter, right, when you're dealing with chips. And so looking at ways that we can accelerate the access to data by not using the same traditional hard drive-based addressing stacks like SCSI, but moving into more memory-mapped type of approaches. And so we've seen this with what's called VSL, the virtual storage layer from Fusion IO. SanDisk have been doing this already with our Zetascale product from technology we got from the Schooner acquisition. And really starting to think about flash as just another tier of memory rather than thinking about it as a separate storage device. And so you avoid the whole I/O latency.
Because technically flash is memory, and a lot of people forget that.
Right. So there's a lot of opportunities to further enhance performance beyond just the hardware interfaces like a faster interface with PCIe, but using software to address this as it should be addressed as memory mapped type of files rather than as block storage.
Okay, so the transition went through the typical connections, SAS and SATA. It evolved into PCIe.
That's correct.
And now SanDisk has taken the next step, and they're the only company in the world that's offering NAND memory attached to the actual memory bus. And we actually have an article with full performance specifications, and it actually received the highest score we've ever given any storage product. Can you tell us a little bit about the UltraDIMM?
Yeah, so UltraDIMM, this is basically putting flash on a memory module. So underneath these heat sinks are flash chips, just similar to like you see here or on this device. But you'll see them mounted on a DIMM, a memory module. But this is literally the world's fastest storage device because it plugs into the memory bus and talks directly to the processor. So it's not going through a SCSI stack, it's not going through an I/O hub, it's talking directly to the processor. I mean, the only thing that could potentially be faster is like the caches that are on a CPU.
Yeah, like if you fused it onto a CPU.
Right. So it's in a way, it's another tier of memory if you want to look at it. Now, this is addressed currently as a block storage device because that's how most applications are written. And we do some custom driver work. So IBM, well now Lenovo is shipping this. It's been qualified with Supermicro and Huawei in their servers. And we do have to update their BIOS so it recognizes that when this plugs into a DIMM slot that it's a block device versus memory, but we're working on the memory map files. There's some work going on in that arena. So this will be eventually just viewed not only as a block device, but as another tier of memory.
So you guys have really laid a foundation for almost completely re-architecting the storage stack in a way.
That's correct. That's correct. And so new ways to think about it, as you move from the different evolution of all the different chip memory, because we're not beholden solely to NAND. We started out as a NOR company over 25 years ago, moved to NAND, and as we look at future technologies, be that resistive RAM or other types of innovation, we'll be embracing those as well, because we're ultimately trying to solve customer problems, and we'll embrace the best technology to do that.
And when it comes to storage, the UltraDIMM is definitely the best storage product. When I tested the latency on it, It's 3x faster than even the closest in the most expensive 12 gig SAS SSD money can buy. This destroys it. So
That's
when it comes to latency, so it's very impressive, and we appreciate your time, and thanks for stopping by the booth.
Well, thank you, Paul.
Thank you.